Hi guys. So what should be the mindset or the approach of a student on the D-Day of the examination? Now in my last 10 years of experience, I have realized that scanning the question paper or the strategy to scan the question paper should be very clear in one student's minds, because I have a lot of students who come after the CAT examination with a complaint saying that we were not able to see the 21st or 22nd question of the paper, and actually those were the easy ones. So let me tell you that when you're attempting the CAT paper, your first and foremost strategy should be is to understand the which question is there in which part of the paper, so that you make sure that you're not losing out on the easy questions. So generally there are two strategies to scan the paper. One strategy is where a student initially spends 3 to 4 minutes on scanning the questions, notes down which all questions he or she wants to attempt, and then starts attempting the questions. Right now, what is the problem with this method? The problem is you might lose 3 to 4 minutes initially, but trust me, that is not losing to 2 to 3 minutes or 3 to 4 minutes. That's actually called investing your time to understand which are the easy questions and which are the ones that you should leave in the examination. Now, the second approach is a student starts solving the questions and also takes the decisions while going through all the questions. Now, when you're going by this method, you have to make sure that you keep at least 3 to 4 minutes in hand to reach the 22nd question. I repeat, you need not attempt all the 22 questions, but you have to go through each and every 22 question, because if the 22nd question is an easy question, you can't afford to leave that in the examination, and you should have at least 3 to 4 minutes in hand to make sure that you capitalize on that last very easy question of the paper. So first thing which is very important on the D-Day is the strategy to scan the question paper. So the second important thing that you should keep very handy on the D-Day is the list of topics that you're comfortable with. In a lot of my previous videos, I've always emphasized the fact that these are the topics which are very important, and a lot of questions come up from these topics, especially the arithmetic section. So you should be very clear that from arithmetic also, what are the topics and concepts that you definitely know and you can solve in the least possible time. At the same time, have the same preference areas for geometry and algebra, which will help you a lot to save time in the examination and prioritize those questions which you can solve in the least possible time, and rather end up spending a lot of time in certain questions. Third important thing that you should be very clear with in the exam is what is the amount of time that you are going to give on certain questions which are troubling you, which I always tell in my classes, that your job is not to fall in love with the questions in the examination. Rather, you should make sure that you know when to leave it. So you need to ensure that you're not spending too much of time on a question which will choke your bandwidth to not see certain easy questions which are at the end of the paper. So please be very clear before you enter the examination hall that maybe I'll spend 2 minutes or a maximum of 3 minutes, and if in 3 minutes I'm not able to get my answer, then I would rather leave the question or mark for review and keep on moving forward, and I would come back to that question at the end of the paper in case I have some extra time in the examination. Now the fourth thing that you should keep in your mind, which is a common mistake that a lot of my students do, is to start analyzing the paper. Please, please, please do not analyze the paper. Remember that your job in the examination room is to solve as many questions as possible, but a lot of my students start getting busy in deciding that what is the cutoff of the paper, and then they suddenly start getting demotivated if they have attempted less number of questions, right? And that affects their morale in the exam as well as the performance in the remaining part of the section always. So please remember that predicting the cutoffs is not your job in the examination room. Your main job is to ensure that you are picking up the easy questions and you are ending up solving them.